Hey guys, welcome to the show. In this episode I want to talk about a movie called The Man from Earth that came out in 2007, was written by Jerome Bixby and directed by Richard Schenkman? Come on, after all the names that I've mispronounced and butchered over the years, surely I've got that one right.
Dr. Mtha? It's close.
Anyway, I want to talk about this particular movie because originally when I started this channel, I was looking to talk about movies that I enjoyed and maybe give suggestions to people out there like myself that were looking for movies worth watching that wouldn't maybe be on the usual top 10 lists online, and this one is the perfect example of exactly that.
Perfect.
And don't get me wrong, The Man from Earth is generally recognised as a good movie. I just think that not enough people talk about it or even aware about its existence, and if I can bring it to the attention of just one more person that sits down and watches it and enjoys it, I'll consider that a job well done.
Congratulations.
So I'll start by saying that The Man from Earth is not for everyone. Let's get that right out the way. In the past, I've talked about movies with zombies, vampires, death, monsters, or on the odd occasion dinosaurs.
Oh Michael, what have they done to you?
But The Man from Earth is something very, very different. This is a movie where people just sit in a room and have a conversation. That's it. And I strongly recommend that if you do decide to watch this, try not to read anything about it beforehand. Don't even watch the trailer that I'll get back to in a second. But before we do that, a little context. When The Man from Earth was first brought to my attention, I was told just to watch it. Don't go looking for info on it, just watch it. And the only info I was given at that time is the same thing I'm giving to you. It's about a few people in a room having a conversation.
At first I thought there was something wrong with me.
But it's the conversation they have that makes the movie so enjoyable, I think. And that's why I would recommend not reading anything about it beforehand, because even the trailer reveals more than I would like in the first 10 seconds. So with that said, I hope you understand why I'm trying my best to dance around the actual story here, because I think part of the enjoyment is feeling like you're in the room with the characters as the story unfolds. Does that make sense? And when I say that this movie is not for everyone, what I mean by that is, if you're looking for big explosions, special effects, over-the-top action sequences or wild locations, then this is not for you. It's just one place with no cutaways or fancy editing, just a conversation. It kind of feels like a play, but it's quite enclosed and, what's the word I'm looking for? Intimate?
I was told I could never go there alone.
And if you went back there today, would it be the same?
It's got that cosy vibe that I've mentioned before in previous episodes, and I think being set in one location with the same group of people from start to finish is the reason why. Just like the autopsy of Jane Doe.
Trace amounts in the hair.
So with this movie heavily relying on storytelling rather than the razzle-dazzle that some other movies with lesser substance need to entertain their audience, we're going to need some powerful performances, right? And while the movie's budget at $200,000 was never going to get us the biggest or most recognised names in the industry, what we do get here is a very capable cast that I think mesh well together, and you might just recognise one or two faces.
Interesting. You could have lied about that.
So, again, without giving away any spoilers or reveals, our story's about a university professor called John who's suddenly leaving his job and moving away. The movie begins as some of John's work colleagues come to his house to see him off, but they do have a few questions about his sudden departure.
Truth time, John. Is there a problem?
John's played by David Lee Smith, and the first time I seen him, I didn't recognise him for anything else I'd seen, but upon further investigation, I was shocked to find out that he was in Fight Club. Well, I know that movie pretty well, and I don't remember seeing him in it.
You liked it, didn't you?
Oh, this guy? His name's Walter, supposedly.
Walter Baylor.
No, just Walter.
Absolutely.
I like David Lee Smith in this movie. He brings a sort of calmness to the character, and do you know what? I'm sorry, I can't get over the fact that I didn't recognise him for Fight Club. What else has he been in? Nothing of note. Wait. Huh. He was in a movie called Triple X's and Triple O's. Why do you recognise that name? Because it was directed by Alan Arkish. Why do you recognise that name? Because we've talked about him before. He directed a certain movie called Caddyshack 2.
What's going on here?
See, we're going full circle here. References within references, layers upon layers, totally planned out from the very beginning. And definitely not a stroke of absolute coincidence.
Dang, that was lucky.
So that's our lead performer that I shamefully didn't recognise, but I'm happy to say there is someone that I did recognise. It's Candyman!
Do I know you?
Yes, I do know his real name is Tony Todd and he's been in about a gajillion other things over the years, but for me, he'll always be Candyman.
Be my victim.
Another face that I didn't recognise and had to check what else he was in was this dude.
Okay. Now we're done with that. What do we do for the rest of the afternoon?
This is William Catt, and no way, it's Roger from 1985's House. Look at that jumper. Yep, I'm sure you'll know him for something else, but you know me. It's the obscure things in life that I seem to enjoy, so I know him for House, okay?
Okay.
So at this point, you might be thinking, okay, it's a small group of people in a room having a discussion. That doesn't sound that riveting, but believe me, it is. When John talks to his friends and eventually explains the reason why he's leaving, it just hooked me in. It was almost as if I was in the room with the group as they processed his words, and every time a question popped into my head,
An answer for every question.
one of the characters seemed to ask it.
Have you led a wrongful life?
Why are you doing this?
I think a smart move by the writers here is to have most of the characters being professors or experts in their own fields, because when they start to analyse John's story, they're able to ask or sort of cross-examine what he says using their own expertise in the topics involved. It's pretty cool because it's as if each character's almost representing a different audience member with their views and questions, or just how they react to the news provided by John.
You don't mean a word of this, John. My God, why are you doing this?
And you know what? That's all I can say about this movie without getting into spoiler territory. I've wanted to talk about this one for a really long time, but just didn't know how to properly do it any sort of justice, but hopefully you'll give The Man from Earth a chance and understand why I rate it so highly. There's just something about it.
You are something special. You are something special.
Just like the way it was given to me. Sometimes it's better just to go into a movie knowing nothing more than it comes recommended. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and remember,
I'm only exploring what you have said. Whether I believe it or not is of no importance.
I think part of the enjoyment's feeling like you're in the room with the characters as the story unfolds. Carl, feeling like you're in the room with the characters as the story
I suppose there's a joke in there somewhere, but I don't get it.